I'm having a $500 giveaway for the AniFam members. Best way to win is clicking the notification bell. I'll wait for 3 seconds. 3, 2, more details in pinned comment and description, and 1. Looking at Jiren's last moments of Dragon Ball Super, there are lots of open ends about where his character will go in the future. A rematch is clearly on Jiren's wish list, but with Goku not being able to use Ultra Instinct anymore, the gap between their powers will be larger than we've ever seen before. Because it wasn't simply just Ultra Instinct that Goku used to push him to a level held by Whis and the other angels. The true power that he held is something that Jiren happened to pick up on in those last minutes of the Tournament of Power. This explains why Jiren, with a power that impressed even the Omni Kings, will surpass the limits of Ultra Instinct, forcing Goku to go beyond his mastered state in the future of Dragon Ball Super. Let's get it, AniFam. Even though they defeated Jiren in the most epic ending imaginable, you can't honestly say that Universe 7 won this battle all on their own, because they had help from Jiren himself. Seems totally strange, I know. It's hard to ignore the amount of stamina that Jiren had used up, but if you do, there, you'll find how Jiren's future power in this series is linked to the way he helped with his own defeat in the final Dragon Ball Super episode 131. A link hidden in the real meaning behind this. This very confusing statement all started with a terrifying act of panic, confusion, and overwhelming frustration. Seeing Goku, once nothing more than the strongest of the weaklings around him, now surpassing him, Jiren briefly lost his mind, becoming the very type of evil that since only a child, he'd been fighting against. With this effort to prove Goku wrong not working, Jiren had nothing left. Imagine his shock. Not even his most used and trusted attacks were phasing Goku now. You could see it in Jiren's eyes, a thought he believed would never come to his mind. Now what's the point? As Jiren was encouraging Goku to get this elimination over with, you could hear his tone and his words weren't matching up. It's like he himself didn't want to believe what he was doing. But when Goku approached, towering over Jiren, the look in his eye wasn't what you'd expect. Wasn't he about to win the Tournament of Power? About to save his friends and family, plus all the innocent lives of Universe 7 from the wrath of the Zenos and Grand Priest? Then why such a dreadful face? Jiren had lost a lot of stamina, sure. No one can deny that. But what you're seeing here is Goku thinking the same exact thing as this. It's exactly what you'd expect from Goku. He didn't want to eliminate Jiren without winning by himself. What Goku said meant that he didn't want to win due only to Jiren giving up. But watching this scene for the first time, and with Goku's words being so vague, it was so unclear as to how Jiren giving up would ever lead to him reaching a level past that of Ultra Instinct. And if you thought the Dragon Ball Super creators were about to just hand over the answer, you were totally wrong. But in one unexpected move, Jiren found his win postponed. That's Frieza and Android 17? Jiren's shock was clear, but he pushed it off like it was nothing. He was seeing it for himself. The truth that he'd always known. Goku had gone from empty to a level Whis has met in a matter of minutes? Whatever this power was that helped Goku master Ultra Instinct, the proof of its failure was all Jiren needed in order to know that Universe 7's loss was already written in stone. Not only was it Goku's condition that had Jiren on his feet again, it was also this pathetic team of two. One was lucky Jiren hadn't knocked him off the stage last time. The other was lucky to even be alive. Goku may have used this strange technique to bring Jiren down, but their powers, combined, would never match the mastered Ultra Instinct that Jiren had just escaped. All that was left in his mind was the sight of Universe 7's end from the Omni King's small, raising hands. Jiren had officially forgotten why he had given up in the first place. But in order to find the power that will eventually force Goku to go beyond Mastered Ultra Instinct, a necessary evil for Jiren was coming. With Frieza's hateful words, it was finally made crystal clear. The answer to defeating Jiren. What usually comes out as a thread of lies and a cheap attempt to make his opponent lose their cool. Frieza's words were now coming out the truth. Ever since this moment, Jiren had already been losing his cool. Like throwing salt into a nasty wound, Frieza had hit the nerve again, and as with any fighter lost within the dark depths of their emotions, their success in battle can easily be overturned. Jiren's case was no different. With the anticipation of the Grand Prix's final words against them, Jiren's team shook in disbelief as he fell to his knees. You could almost hear his thoughts. How can this be possible? These two, with less stamina than myself, with less power? This time, Jiren's intent was much more obvious. No more vague words or confusing expressions. Jiren was giving up, and there was no two ways about it. Finally, we had our answer as to why he would give up, but still found ourselves totally oblivious to the power Jiren will reach in the future Dragon Ball Super series. With no expectations of learning this answer himself, Jiren bowed his head in shame. Universe 7 had this strength that he just couldn't beat. If only he could find its source, he would surely become more of a monster than ever before. And just like that, the answer practically fell in his lap. What is this feeling? Almost like a shock to his system. Jiren felt a sudden urge of power rising up in him. The cause. Where was this coming from? Only minutes before, Jiren had been declaring his disappointment in Toppo, the man who gave up everything he knew to gain power, something Jiren had clearly just proven he would never stoop so low to. Yet, it's this teammate's words that sent him a rush of strength. Is it possible for words to turn into physical strength? Goku had proven it already by mastering Ultra Instinct. And now, Jiren would answer that question for himself. Even after finding strength through emotion, Jiren still hadn't fully grasped the concept that Goku had been trying to teach him, a lesson leading to their futures in this series. Just by seeing Goku again, Jiren found a fearsome new strength. But with the power of 3 very weak bodies, Universe 7 used a technique that Jiren had only scratched the surface of. Suddenly, nothing surrounded Jiren. It was for certain. The next surface to touch his body would be the seats in the stands above them. Jiren's eyes widened as he finally figured out the key he needed to win all along, with Jiren finally understanding that it was never raw strength that would provide him with the strongest power. He refused to open his eyes, weak and ashamed of himself, until he heard a surprising sound. The sound of praise and pride coming from his teammates. After everything he'd done to them, the hateful words he spat at them, yet they still thanked him for the effort he gave. He had 100% proven himself to be a true defender of his universe, the ultimate pride trooper. As touching as this moment was, Jiren was clearly still confused by what he was hearing. Seeing the full power that something like trust holds wasn't enough for Jiren to grasp how to do it. Similar to a child hearing from their parents for the first time that Santa isn't real, Jiren's whole theory on friendship and teamwork had totally just been debunked. It was hard for him to grasp something he had known to be true his entire lifetime, turning out to actually be false, meaning Jiren, in his last moments of life, still did not know how to use the power of trust and friendship, a sad event that Android 17 unselfishly undid, giving Jiren another chance to learn this terrifying power. Looking around him, Jiren saw his beautiful Universe 11 restored, but the feelings of relief and joy were quickly wiped away by the disappointment he had felt just before getting erased. It didn't seem like much of a point getting brought back. After living bound to his past, Jiren believed there was no way he could learn to form a connection such as friendship. Jiren had once again given up, until he was reminded by a fellow teammate, someone who had always called Jiren his sworn friend, that they already formed a bond. An understanding of Universe 7's most fearsome of powers started sparking. Had Jiren already forgotten? With words alone, Toppo had given Jiren physical strength. This was the very basis of trust. And now that Jiren clearly saw that he can actually change, that he can actually use such a power, already knowing that Goku can no longer access Ultra Instinct, Jiren's words are chilling. The power he had already gained by trusting in only himself will obviously be multiplied by learning how to use teamwork. With a rematch sure to come in the future series of Dragon Ball Super, Jiren will definitely be forcing Goku to go beyond Mastered Ultra Instinct. Don't you think, AniFam?